On 7's Gold Coast News, a woman sentenced over a violent home invasion, an exclusive interview with her victim.
A driver pulled from a crumpled car after a high-speed crash in Southport.
Caught on camera, a thief smash and grab at a local jewellery store.
Prices slashed at our theme parks and hotels. The mega tourism deals inspired by Bluey.
And get ready to rock as Coolangatta prepares for a nostalgia spectacular.
Live from the Gold Coast, 7 News with Amanda Abate and Steve Titmus.
Good evening. Pathetic and unsettling. The victim of a terrifying attack has spoken exclusively to 7 News, slamming the punishment handed to a woman involved in his brutal bashing.
Adam McClure was set upon at home while his children slept. More than a year later, he's still haunted.
Smashed teeth, bleeding and bruised. Painful consequences for Adam McClure after trying to defend his home.
It was just cowardly.
It's 4 a.m. in February last year. A stolen car pulls up in Pimpama. Inside is 19-year-old Ella Mae Baker and 2 men. Cameras capture one jumping Adam's fence. He's woken by his barking dog, checks his CCTV and sees a trio rummaging inside his work van. This is Adam confronting them. What you don't see is the brutal attack that followed. Adam set upon while his children slept inside. More than a year later, the scars are still raw.
I'll wake up in the middle of the night and trying to get back to sleep is a 2 to 3 hour ordeal.
Today, Baker pleaded guilty to her role in the terrifying incident, despite not inflicting violence herself. The court heard Baker was addicted to drugs and on parole at the time. The next month, she was busted in a stolen car and sent to jail. Released, she's remorseful and drug-free, allowed to walk from court today, punished to 18 months probation.
It's pretty disappointing and, shows that our system really needs some attention. To know that she's back out there walking around it's a bit unsettling. As
Adam's left powerless and in pain. Mel Whiteman, 7 Gold Coast News.
The man accused of murdering 9-year-old Coolangatta girl Charlize Mutton has taken to the stand in a Sydney courtroom to give his version of events. Justin Stein denies murdering the schoolgirl, saying her mother fired the gun instead. Leonie Ryan has more.
Good afternoon. Well, we're almost at the end of this murder trial of hearing all the evidence, and today we heard from the defence case. Its first witness, Justin Stein, the accused killer, taking to the witness box. It is the first time we've heard from him. The 34-year-old told the jury it was his now ex-girlfriend Callista Mutton who murdered her daughter Charlize. Stein said Callista had been injecting the drug ice despite the impending arrival of her daughter for the school holidays. He said when the three of them were staying at the Mount Wilson property, he was in the shed working on the ute when he heard Charlize call out his name and a gunshot. Stein said he ran around the back and heard the girl screaming, "No, mummy, no," and witnessed Callista fire the second shot. He asked her what she had done, to which she's alleged to have responded, "It's all your fault." Stein was asked about why he drove around Sydney with Charlize's body in a barrel on the back of his ute. He told the court he didn't even know she was in there until the tarpaulin came off, and after that he just panicked. Now, Callista Mutton denies his version of events, but it'll be up to the jury to decide who is ultimately telling the truth.
Leonie Ryan reporting. A man has been pulled from a crumpled car following a high-speed crash in Southport. Sam Payne witnesses rushed to help.
Yes, Amanda. Hamza Hasham was at the intersection of Ferry and Benoa Road just before 1 p.m. when he saw it all unfold. Hamza says he spotted a white Mazda run a red light and smash into a Range Rover, the impact causing the black car to destroy a traffic light as it spun out. Hamza immediately used his vehicle to block the road before jumping into action.
This guy was coming down at about 100 and he was just going about 40, 50 to making a turn. Both cars got spun out. He's on the curb. I pulled out the man who was in the Range Rover. He got sent all the way into the passenger seat.
Emergency crews treated both men aged in their 40s and 50s. They were taken to hospital and remain in serious conditions.
Sam Payne reporting there. Police are searching for a brazen jewel thief who broke into a bundle business on Sunday morning. Caught on camera, the man can be seen smashing the store's front window with a hammer before breaking into a cabinet. He filled up his bag with around $5,000 worth of silver jewellery, leaving behind a mighty mess.
We've released that footage and hoping that members of the public, can come forward and identify that male person.
The store has replaced the front window and plans to increase security.
A former Gold Coast resident has been shot dead during a disturbing murder-suicide in Brisbane. Police say a man shot his aunt before turning the gun on himself. The crime unfolding in front of the man's 88-year-old mother.
Police guard a crime scene around a family home in Albany Creek, where a 77-year-old woman should have felt safe. Instead, it was here where her life ended.
This is a tragedy. There is no doubt about that.
Police say she was shot dead by her nephew.
Has used a weapon, a handgun, that was registered to him to discharge a number of shots, which has killed the 77-year-old female.
The murder-suicide played out in front of the man's 88-year-old mother, who wasn't hurt.
She is still to be spoken to and provide a full version.
Police say the three lived together in the home, but 7 News understands the victim had only just moved to the property in the last few months. She had been living with her now deceased husband at Jacob's Well. Police say there were no domestic violence orders in place, but officers had been to the address.
This week there was a few times there was policemen back and forth, and there was ambulances as well.
Police have attended the scene, the address a number of times and had dealings with both parties in the preceding week.
Dealings that will now form part of a coronial investigation to find answers for the family left behind. Amelia Radham, 7 Gold Coast News.
And if you are in a domestic violence situation, DV Connect can help on 1800 811 811. There's also help for men who are in danger of using or experiencing domestic violence. That number is 1800 600 636.
Climbing construction costs are prompting developers to hit pause on major tower projects across the Gold Coast. Experts say the delays could be devastating as mass migration to our city continues.
Building up to keep up with population pressures. The city's skyline is expanding, but experts fear not fast enough.
People are coming every day and there is not enough dwellings here for that. We need supply. That's units on the coastal strip, that's townhouses in Pimpamar.
More developments are desperately needed to bolster supply. Instead, they're being delayed. A 2-tower build was approved for this block in Surfers Paradise. It's up for sale again.
Perfect storm of costs going up because materials are going up, plus then we're all in the same war for labour.
Prompting developers to press pause.
Developers having to come back sometimes for a second or third attempt to get the right settings on their development so they can hopefully proceed to construction.
It's very rare to have both our commercial sector as well as then our housing sector firing at the same time.
It's usually 2 years to build a high-rise and 8 months for a house. Those timeframes now blown out.
On the Gold Coast here, there's definitely a trade shortage.
Building experts believe the delays are devastating for a city in desperate need of more housing.
We are miles behind the 8 ball with a lot of those things, and now if the projects don't stack up, then they're just not going to get built.
A construction crisis showing no signs of slowing. Danielle Bowen, 7 Gold Coast News.
A man in his 30s has been taken to hospital after crashing into a barrier on the M1. Emergency services were called to the scene near Helensvale just before 11, following reports a van had veered off the motorway. It's believed the driver suffered a medical episode while behind the wheel. He was taken to Gold Coast University Hospital with neck, back and chest injuries.
Police are calling for calm on our region's roads after video emerged of a ute tailgating a car in Paradise Point. Driving dangerously close, both cars hit speeds of nearly 70 kilometres an hour as they drive through several suburbs.
Obviously, we ask people to be patient on the road. Everyone's in a hurry, everyone needs to get somewhere, but it is against the law.
Drivers caught tailgating can be fined more than $2,500.
Okay, let's go to weather presenter Liz Cantor now. And Liz, chilly start to the week, down to single digits for a lot of the Gold Coast.
Yes, 8 degrees in Coolangatta this morning, a noticeable drop in temperatures along our beachside suburbs. Of course, we always expect it to be that bit colder further inland. And just before dawn, a spectacular sight in the sky with the crescent moon lingering over the city. And it was around 5:30am that temperatures were at their coldest before a stunning array of colours as the sun rose in the sky. For those who like to get out and about early, expect to feel the chill over the next few mornings as we weather light winds, allowing that cold, dry air from down south to really settle in. I'll have more on what's to come over the working week a little later in the bulletin.
OK, we'll catch you then, Liz. Surfing champion Mick Fanning has done it, so too Queensland tennis star Abate. But this year, it will be our very own Seven Gold Coast sports presenter, Sally Pearson's turn to join the Big Freeze. So we'll be heading down to Melbourne for the 10th anniversary on June 10. She will be heading down the slide into freezing water to raise money and awareness for MND. She can't wait. Amanda and I will take part in the Gold Coast Suns Big Freeze Dunk tomorrow at Carrara at 10:30. Come on down, show your support, and you can donate at fightmnd.org.au.
Oh, aren't we looking forward to that? Coming up, the new tourism deals inspired by Bluey. What bargains are on offer?
And a special encounter off the coastline. Whales keep crowds entertained at Main Beach. Tonight, 7 News can show you the mega deals on offer as part of the state's biggest tourism campaign in a decade. From discounts at our theme parks to accommodation and food, it's all thanks to Bluey.
A Bluey holiday.
Can we go to the beach?
And now you and your family can join.
Who doesn't love Bluey?
The cartoon Blue Healer helping to show the Gold Coast and our beaches to the world.
We're also going after New Zealand, the USA, UK, Singapore and Japan.
As part of Queensland's biggest tourism campaign in 10 years to lure in families.
We're looking to add another 1.3 million visitors between now and June next year.
Bringing $1.7 billion to the Sunshine State.
Just hope to see as many dollars come through our economy as possible.
But there's more. From now, there are deals on offer right up and down the Gold Coast, from accommodation to experiences, whale watching and our theme parks. Stay 3 nights and get 1 free at O'Reilly's Rainforest Retreat. A third person flies free on a scenic flight with Gold Coast Heli Tours, or enjoy a koala breakfast at Paradise Country for $50. And for those wanting to jump on the aqueduct or a jet boat,
we will be offering adults at kids' prices.
The campaign just what traders need.
There's no denying there has been a little bit of a slump in domestic visitation over the last couple of months, and international, the road to recovery after COVID has probably been a little bit slower than what was originally anticipated.
So get ready for the crowds. Amelia Rudham, 7 Gold Coast News.
Whale watchers didn't have far to travel this morning, with close encounters taking place just a few hundred metres off the Gold Coast Seaway entrance. Several pods of humpbacks appeared to be enjoying the calm ocean conditions and were spotted close to shore around Main Beach. They weren't in a hurry either and kept crowds on board the fleet of whale watching boats entertained for almost an hour. The giant mammals are on their northern migration. 45,000 are expected to pass our coastline this year.
Plenty out there too. Very spectacular morning. Work is underway to transform Coolangatta into a rock and roll playground. Cooley Rocks On starts there on Wednesday. Giant marquees are being built along the esplanade, and some early arrivals are rolling into town ahead of the show and shine event. 900 classic cars have been registered for this year's event, as well as a long lineup of Elvis tribute artists, including a 15-year-old with impressive style. Cooley Rocks On runs for 5 days. It's expected to attract a crowd of more than 160,000 people.
Wow.
OK, Sally Pearson, that's all tonight's sport.
Sal, our Maroons have arrived in enemy territory.
Yeah, they landed in Sydney a short time ago, Amanda. Hello, everyone. But not before one final training session at Sanctuary Cove. Those details next. And the Suns still undefeated in Carrara following a 4-goal haul from their milestone man.
Tonight on 7 News, Tesla, trouble, 6,000 cars, lined up and sitting idle.
They've just stopped moving.
Why they've got nowhere to go. A 7 News special report tonight at 6.
The Maroons have completed a final training session at Sanctuary Cove before farewelling the Gold Coast and venturing into cockroach country. Queensland's squad touched down in Sydney just moments ago. Mitch Crone was there for their arrival across the border.
Yes, the Maroons touched down here just a short while ago before setting off for Parramatta, their new base of operations. It was a warm welcome to Cockroach Country. Even Blues fans were waiting to get a snap with the players and coaches. Earlier, Billy Slater put his men through their paces on the Gold Coast, their last intense session of the camp. While the lead-up's been largely hiccup-free for the Maroons, the surprise return of Axe-Blues captain James Tedesco to replace injured fullback Dylan Edwards has put Queensland back on high alert.
He's obviously been a big part of the New South Wales side for such a long time, and it's been a crazy 48 hours for Teddy, but he's someone who's done the job well for them before, so we'll be on high alert for Teddy. I'm sure he'll come out with a point to prove.
Now the Maroons will get in one final tune-up. They host their captain's run at Accor Stadium tomorrow afternoon.
The Suns have surged into the top 8 after seeing off the Bombers in a thrilling Sunday night clash at Carrara. A late goal from Tuke Miller sealed the deal in the side's long-awaited return to People's First Stadium. The Gold Coast has now won all 7 matches at home this season.
Just had a superb game back there. Yeah, mate, that's a massive win by.
If we play our very best footy, which we know we can and we're capable of doing, we're going to be hard to beat.
An inspired Ben Long marked his 100th AFL appearance with a 4-goal haul. Ben King also bagged 4 to become the competition's joint leading goal kicker. Gold Coast soccer stars Hayley Raso and Mackenzie Arnold are just under 2 hours away from returning to Matilda's action. The former Palm Beach and Burleigh Heads juniors will take on China tonight at Sydney's Accor Stadium. The sides couldn't be separated during Friday's international friendly. A late goal from Michelle Heyman pulled the Matildas level in Adelaide in front of a sellout crowd. Tonight's tussle kicks off at 7:40. And they sure know how to bring a crowd, don't they?
They sure do. Thanks, Sal.
Thank you.
Well, Titan star Kieran Foran has hit the waves with the best in the world to raise awareness for mental health after his stepson died last year. The NRL player swapped the field for the beach, picking up a board for a lesson from Mick Fanning and Joel Parkinson.
I think it was a really important morning just in that sense to normalise these conversations and actually get guys to feel comfortable about opening up.
Yeah, well said. The conversations, of course, just as important, if not more than important, than the surfing challenge itself.
Yeah, good on you, Kieran. Great stuff. Coming up after the break, the Big Bluey holiday. How you can win a trip to the brand new Bluey's World.
And a run of noticeably colder days ahead of us. I'll have all your weather details for the week ahead after the break.
Max Butcher is here now with the top stories coming up shortly in the news at 6.
Steve, tonight millions of Australians get a pay rise. How much more and when you'll get it? Plus exclusive breaking news on new cost of living relief for Gold Coasters. Incredible video watches an out-of-control truck comes to grief. Housing boost, hundreds of new homes, but the rental crisis is biting harder than ever. Tesla trouble, why thousands of their new cars are sitting idle. And we're with the mighty Maroons as they arrive in enemy territory. Details are straight ahead.
Thanks, Max. Weather time now, and Liz, we're just days into winter, but we're already feeling it.
Oh, we sure are, Amanda. A lot of suburbs dropping into the single digits this morning. Hello, everyone. More of this to come. Minimums around 10 degrees, maximums around 20, which is pretty chilly for a sunny Gold Coast day. Let's get straight into the weather. And here at the Broadbeach soccer fields, it is 18 degrees. It feels even colder with the humidity at 52%. Here's a look at how today unfolded. It was just after 5:30 a.m. that Coolangatta dropped to a low of 8 before a sunny top of 22. 11 11 to 21 at the other end of the coast at the Seaway. Inland, Canungra plummeted to 5 before a top of 21. The satellite shows a bit of high cloud over the Darling Downs is dissipating, then clear across the east coast of Queensland, while a low spins in the Tasman, pushing cool, dry air our way. Tomorrow, weak high develops over southeast Queensland with fine, sunny conditions and very light winds. So expect that picture-perfect but super cold Gold Coast winter's day, dropping to 10 degrees for Coolangatta and Burleigh, 9 for Robina, and Nerang may shiver through a low of 8 before tops around 20 to 21. And then there's every chance tomorrow morning will be surfers' paradise, coldest so far this year. Forecast is for a low of 9 before a top of 20. On our waters, a beautiful day for whale watching, light winds, the swell 2 metres and easing back, high tide at 6 a.m. And it was take your pick of beaches for surfers today. Even this afternoon, winds remained light and waves remained small but fun along the open beaches, with an easterly swell waist to shoulder high, head high possibly at Duramba. Now looking ahead, after a sunny start on Wednesday, we'll see some cloud return. Thursday, after a sunny morning, a medium chance of showers late in the day, becoming dry and sunny with light winds for the weekend. Winter has not eased in, Amanda and Steve. It has become cold fast. One way to warm up, soccer. I might join them here at Broadbeach.
Yeah, better than getting dunked in an ice bath.
Yeah, reminder to join us at the Suns at Carrara Stadium tomorrow morning from 10:30 for the big dunk. Good night.